start straight away because we've had one curtain raiser already and we seem to know our subject reasonably well. So let's start with Samir. Samir, do take us through what you think would be the outlook from a corporate perspective on the ground in India for 2016.
Thank you. I think it's always a pleasure being here and talk about the corporate outlook. So I'm coming from one of the IT organizations in this part of the country and have multiple insights on what could be the potential areas where perhaps the focus would be. So coming from learnings from 2015, I would say that there have been multiple instances where the natural calamities, etc., have taken the tolls. The organizations are there; they are cautious of the places where they send the executives, and the safety is one of the major concerns. So, looking at 2016, so first, I think safety happens to be one of the major concerns, apart from the real fact that, or which would be something which will always be there in the mind, would be the cost parameters. Also, I think 2015 has been fairly cautious here. But then 2016 would be a year with cautious optimism, if that's the right word, because market is growing up. The organizations are moving here and there. They are taking up businesses, and with Make in India coming into existence, also with IT companies looking up, I think it looks to be a bright year ahead, provided the safety concerns are addressed in a much better way. The second part, last time when I was here, I spoke about the trust deficit. So this is something which I think between the industries and the corporates, we still have to build up upon that. It may be progressing in the right direction, but then that is something we still have to build upon. So kind of the start.
Thank you. I think some of that trust deficit is going to be addressed by technology. If Kala is to take that forward, I think we have a lot of transparency coming in the new tools that are being used. So Kala, would you like to say a few words on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Technology, I think, is going to be the way forward. And I noticed that a lot of corporate MNCs, travel MNCs are all focusing now on technology. A recent instance is the Paris instance where, we really didn't have any dependency on the agency to come back, pull out a list and tell us who was located where. So taking on from what Samir just said, security, safety, and I think one big way of doing that would be in a position to be able to track your own suppliers. And I'm sure you will ask this question later on, but that could be one reason why a lot of corporates will think twice about using open market tools, because then you may or may not have controls over where your people are staying and be able to contact them in times of emergencies. So technology is something that has helped us in the last 1 year that we have gone online globally with an online booking tool that has been customized to our requirement, and in terms of reports and in terms of tracking, so the whole gamut of travel suite requirements are all taken care of there.
Thank you. Take this forward a little bit on how this would impact MICE meetings, incentives, movements in 2016.
Looking ahead, if you talk about technology or the digital, if you're talking about the platform, the corporate side, if you look at, there's of course, as we expanded to the retail chip, we come from an infrastructure digital background. We are one of the largest cement manufacturers and value-added suppliers of the business. It is not the digital or the technology thing we are talking about. We still look out for the human interface. Reason being, as and more we expand into markets, we will see more and more people from the urban tier 1, tier 2, 3 city. There is city bus, but the portfolio platform, if you look at, the village level people also are coming up and they're growing in a big way. So today, if a simple dealer or stockist may aspire sitting on the border of Pakistan and we report places, he he aspires to go to Australia with his family or something. So digitally becomes a challenge is how well you're going to connect with them. Yes, digitally our technology is just a parameter for platform and all. Unless until I am able to get a human link on a chain for him. I want that today what has happened is we don't look for the HR word of the simple thing is we want to motivate our dealers. Motivation is something which HR people cleverly uses to downgrade, upgrade your employees, how well they want to play around with the company. It is how well you are going to excite the dealers into being with your company or for a longer organization. Because when we pick up and create, moderate a dealer, mold him into becoming one of the largest business partners in the country in one way or the other. We treat in our industry, every human being has the same level of growth and they should be given a chance. So if we are looking as mice today has become a big thing for that small stockist now. Why? 2016, if we look ahead, it is that time, that short time, is when he gets to connect with his family. That is the short time when he gets to bond well up with his relations. So there is a challenge, technology, digitally, transparency, everything. But our biggest challenge as we keep on spiritualizing thing is how well we are going to be connected with that human being or the higher command. If we don't connect, we lose out on a lot of relationship.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point. We need to balance both. And I think most of the audience here would agree that the technology needs to be balanced with the human touch. And I think we in India are, yes, more inclined to the human interface. So I think, yes, you put a very strong point forward. I will take this, Amit. Amit, what do you think 2016 looks like, and what are the major trends that you think would dictate the market?
If I talk about especially the industry where I am, that's insurance industry, and insurance after this FDI and also still people think that things have evolved and have changed in terms of people have the business and companies major. It will take time definitely, especially for our organization where you have public sector and private sector PPP model. But yes, business, as I said earlier also in the last meeting, business is not going to stop. The MICE activities and everything that were happening for the last 8 years, if I talk about my company, that's continuously growing. But only thing is the discipline between the partners and internally in the company. That is being improved definitely in our company, and if I talk about different other corporates where we meet, and so that is major factor. I think apart from the security, yes, that has to be there. Technology, those things are companies that are being taken care of. You get that as partners and all. But internal discipline, because the budgets and all, definitely they are being downsized. That's one of the critical areas that are being taken into consideration, that the travel budget, transport budget. But yes, discipline, and you have to change your policies as we have done that from last year, now this year, for keeping in mind the budget for 2016. And the policies we have changed it. I think that is one of the key factors which companies will take care. Because MICE activities or their internal travel or domestic or anything in terms of the business, that's not going to stop. I think that's going to increase.
So that means growth is on the cards,
yes,
but with certain differences like internal discipline for all companies, which
yes,
everybody is putting into place.
That is one of the major areas.
Right, right. Thank you. And Ankush, what do you think?
Totally agree with the figures shared by related to what GPT has shared with us. That the average ticket price or the average travel figures which you are going to spend on your employees are going to reduce. Now, how do we go about it? Is you can introduce the online booking tools in your organization, anywhere a threat to this corporate travel program where it gives you a good, nice platform where you can, your employees themselves can go and compare whether your in-house travel agency is giving you a better deal or not. The market is more transparent now. You can't play around with the things, with the prices. And you're supposed to give a better value, smooth transitions to your employees. When we talk about corporate travel, we also need to make sure that when you are going to the open market, OTAs, you are losing the tracking of your employees when they are on a business travel. Looking at the current scenario where you have seen the floods, terrorism, attack, which is on a rise right these days. You need to have a corporate policy, a corporate vendor, a reliable vendor with you, and employees should be tracked. At the same time, costs need to be taken care of.
So, in terms of growth, would we all agree that the growth is more than 10% in terms of sheer growth in numbers?
I think looking at the numbers, it could be perhaps more than 10% also in some sectors. So perhaps if we look at the sectors which are primarily driven by travel, would be some where you have a lot of foreign exchange earnings which are coming in. So typically for IT, it looks like that this could go up even to that extent, even more than 10% in some sectors of the IT industry itself. But then to see at an overall level, I'm not sure that it would be around that extent. But then certainly the growth is there on the card, and it is up to us as an organization, as the travel organization, how do we ensure that we can get the best? That's what I would.
So we're looking around more than 10, maybe 20, maybe 30 in some verticals.
Yeah, there is a possibility.
Yeah.
There is a possibility.
So that's very positive. On the ground, there is a lot of travel, but yes, all the travel will be more disciplined, basically. Yeah. And what about travel to tier 2, 3, 4 cities? What are the trends there for opening up hinterlands, rural areas, the opening up of the airstrips that came up last time?
I think so.
Allah? I think that's a question that can be answered much better by him. Sure, Rajan.
Because we are not into the hinterland of
Yes, yes,
of India.
yes, that's right.
Business-wise, if we look at, we are seeing a lot of growth in the down these levels. So we are expecting a lot of travel. And of course, other than the travelers, we are trying to also connect very swiftly, digitally, bring about the discipline in travel. So that one day, if you look at down to the village level, if you look at a population size of 10,000 plus, even if 5,000 village sizes are huge. So it's not just a question of what we are looking at in terms of travel, people traveling down just for business. There is a lot of CSR activities which has nowadays been connected with each corporate sector. So as we commit and grow infrastructurally, as we commit and grow businessly, profitably, we would expect more of our executives to visit these down to we run different programs. And also in future we are trying to tailor-make some specialized MICE programs so that even some of our employees, leaders, can go and visit see how the people actually sit, live, get the actual feel of the so we see a lot of hope, we see a lot of scope for that, and of course we'll keep on building with all the travel houses sitting around our groups. We'll be asking to give us.
I think two things which will add a lot of value to the domestic travel segment. One would be the 100 Smart Cities project, right? That will ensure that our domestic travel increases, because right now the focus has been on domestic travel majorly onto metro cities. So this is one thing which will be a big game changer. Now, how effectively state governments are going to adopt that and put that into action would definitely be a question. But then what I could see or what I could gauge is something which will be very, very positive. So just to share an instance, WTC, who has got one of their towers in Greater Noida, they got Vivo to be coming in over there, which is again a part of the Smart Cities project, where they have got, or that's a part of the Make in India project. So Make India project, together with getting these smart cities, I think both of them would play in a positive manner towards this side. Also, the executives, the earning capacity of the executives, that is enhancing, and that will ensure that their own travel to the domestic places, because of domestic tourism and their domestic commitment, is bound to increase. So I definitely see a positive outlook over this. Yes, leisure because of the tourism as well as domestic travel will also be a part.
So that's important. Yeah.
Yeah, so smart cities. So I think as far as that goes, there is going to be a lot of work that we as a technology engineering services company will do. So it's not just about us expanding across the globe. We've just acquired a new company, by the way. It's called Smart Play, and they have their own offices and their own people numbers. So in addition to actual travel increase happening on that front, I also agree that the Smart Cities project, because of the fact that these are going to be connected cities, and that is the specialization that we have as a technology company. So that part, I think there is going to be increase in travel for us as well.
For our company, for sure, because we are expanding in terms of, we have offices in tier 2, tier 3 cities, and especially when we talk about that there are technology things like video conferencing and all. Still, I feel, and as a company person, there are things that you can't do every time on the video conferencing and all. So when you're moving towards expanding to tier 2, tier 3. So the growth is definitely increasing, and the trend is there for sure towards these tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
So it means that in terms of getting results, while you would use technology in a very positive way, you make sure that that internal engagement, external engagement physically continues because of opening up of new destinations, new areas, so that means more movement. Yeah? And finally, Ankush?
We have around 60% within India, majorly in metros. But yes, sometimes it is required to travel to the tier 2 and tier 3 cities also, where we see that in case the airports will come up, the movement of engineers, the salesperson will be more easier, new companies will come up in terms of the hotels. And but right now, in the current scenario, that segment is totally, I would say, unorganized, because you are using trains, buses, and people are allowed to even use the taxis if they want to. But going forward with government policies coming up, giving the incentives to operate on those small cities, small sectors, with newer steps coming up in India, I see a lot of growth in those sectors also.
That's very good, because we have a lot of state tourism bodies here, and all of them are very proactive to, this whole concept of business movement going into the states, as well as the MICE meetings and incentives in their states. So they've got all kinds of accommodation available, in tents, in lodges, even jungle lodges, very, very adaptive kind of accommodation, apart from whatever is available in the budget luxury segment. Yeah, Rajan, you were saying something?
When you're talking about lodges, budgets and everything, we have also recently expanded into Jharkhand and other places. It's not just about that. See, if we are sending out an employee outside, we want the maximum benefit to be extracted. He should be mentally fit to meet up the challenges. We cannot just put him in a dingy place and run about it. I'm talking about, when we talk about the scope of smart cities and all, there's of course a challenge from the tier 2. Our research says that as we expand and grow and all, more and more people are moving into urban cities. Today, traditionally, if you look at a middle segment, youth and all in the village living, he doesn't want to stay back in the village. He wants to rapidly move up to a town. So when he moves up, he wants to pick up jobs. So we talk about smartness of a city and everything. We talk about a tier 2 and all. But But the challenge really lies in this travel industry will be how well we are able to connect these people if they are coming down to this work. What sort of places or the amenities we are able to give to them. Today we cannot just ask them if they are moving down to a tier 2 city, spend so much on a budgetary constraint. Companies as a corporate also we realize that unless a person is mentally, physically fit, what he also said that the safety is the concern. We would rather let him stay in a better place, move on, give him a better provider, because end of the day, when he wakes up and he is able to put about 8 hours or 10 hours, that is a fruitful 200% of the work. So rather just compiling on the budgetary constraints. So that also the challenge is when we talk about digitally and all. Digitally, if you look at a platform, of course, it helps. I'm talking about it does help us in terms of cost comparisons, in terms of optimizing the cost, but does the optimization happen? So it's a lot of connect. If we look at the scope and outlook, what as a corporate maybe we would be expecting from the industry and all, if you are helping us connect digitally, you're helping us connect to new places and all. What is the value which is coming out of each benefit which we are driving out? We are ready to spend extra, provided that value of the services and all, it's available. If it is not available, if my employer or my dealer is going to not come back here and all.
Right. So the travel industry will be happy to hear that. Corporates are ready to spend, but they need to get the value. So all the products that are a little priced higher, not necessarily out of the running because of the price. It would be more in terms of what is the value we give. Yeah. Finally, a little roundup on the newsletter and the corporate help desk. Samir, if you could just give us sum it up for us. Has it been of help to you? What are the things you'd like to have for the corporate help desk, which extends help in a non-monetary fashion to all the corporates to bring them in touch?
This is one initiative that you guys have been driving. There's something which is brilliant. That's the word I would use. Why? So I always say that the 80-20 ratio always works. So 20% of the organizations are progressive and 80% of the organizations are not so progressive. For those not so progressive organizations, 20% may have their own structures. But for those who are not so progressive organizations who do not have a structure, this particular corporate help desk is a gold mine for them. Because they can get a structured response for an organization and they can look up to building their own systems, building their own procedures, and dwell on the expertise of the individuals that they are being patched to. So I think from that perspective, this is an absolute brilliant idea. This gives the connect. This bridges the connect between the unstructured travel requirements to the structured travel operators. I think this is one big plus point. Now coming to the newsletter, I would sum it up as well. I think this is again a great connect between the corporates and the travel industry, because this gives you the opportunity in terms of where luxury travels can take place. This gives the corporates the insights on what they can plan for the next 3 years, or next couple of months, or next quarter, and things like that. That helps them build their own travel itineraries, and from the travel industry's perspective, I think it's a big win-win situation.
Right, thank you. And with this, we'll round up the morning corporate panel discussion. And I'd like to thank all our panelists for sparing time for us today, this morning. And thank you.
Thank you.